You got the pronunciation right for Annapolis. I know that's a tough last name. My dad was an immigrant. That's what he changed it to when he got to the States, because he thought it'd be easier for Americans to pronounce. It did not work for him. But I go by Luedkte as well, because for the first 5 years I was in the General Assembly, Speaker Bush called me Delegate Luedkte, and I was always too scared to correct him, so I will take anything. Thank you to all of you for coming out today to learn more about the blueprint, to learn more about the work that's ongoing. I'm Eric Luedkte. I'm the majority leader, newly minted majority leader in the House of Delegates. I've been serving for a few years as the chair of the Education Subcommittee. More importantly, I'm an educator. I taught 11 years in middle school in Montgomery County Public Schools and 2 high needs middle schools. Thank you. I teach now at the University of Maryland, which, you know, my colleagues complain about their grading and I laugh at them compared to what I had in middle school. Middle school, though, was good training for politics, so that was helpful. I want to tell you a story, because our debates about education get so bogged down sometimes in policy, in finance, in all the details that policy debates get bogged down in. We kind of sometimes lose the thread. And I want to tell you a story about somebody I know pretty well, who grew up in a small town in South Jersey. And this is a town that was an immigrant community, mostly relatively recent Italian immigrants, a working class community. She was raised by 2 working class parents. Her dad's family owned an auto shop. In a community like that, sometimes, it doesn't look like you have a lot of options. But she was lucky to be placed in really good schools and to have some exceptional teachers. And had one teacher in particular in 7th and 8th grade who was a history teacher who inspired an early interest in the law. And she worked hard while she was in school and got into the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League university, was the first person in her family to go to college. And moved down here to Maryland, went to the University of Maryland Law School. She now works for the Attorney General of the state of Maryland, is counsel of the Maryland Center on School Safety. She's my fiance. I'm getting married to her next May. She's sitting there. But that's the difference that good schools can make in the life of a child. And I've seen it over and over and over again as a teacher. And I've seen it as a parent with a kid who has ADHD and who at times struggled in school. I've seen the difference good teachers can make. Over and over again I've seen that. And it is a crime that in the wealthiest state, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we are not providing the same high-quality education to every single kid. We're just not. We're failing our kids. And we have an opportunity now with the blueprint to change that, to truly change that. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. It really is. If we are able to successfully implement this whole range of reforms, it will help tens of thousands of Maryland children be that first kid in their family to go to college. Lift them and their families up out of poverty. It will undergird our state's economy for the next generation if we do it right. But it's tough to do, which is why we haven't done it before. There's nothing, and I've spent a lot of time watching the Kirwan Commission. It had fantastic people, the best minds in education, working on it. There's nothing in here that's rocket science. There's nothing in here that your average classroom teacher wouldn't say, hey, we should have done this 20 years ago. And the reason we haven't is a lack of political courage. That's all it is. That's what it comes down to. So there are some of us in office who believe pretty strongly for this, and we're going to fight for it. But whether or not this is going to get done isn't going to be up to us in the end. It's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to the people of Maryland, whether you want us to do this or not. And when somebody comes to you and says, why should I do this? Why does this matter? Tell them a story that matters to you about somebody who's in school. Or you can talk in more general terms, right? Maryland's Constitution only requires the state government to do 2 things. Pass a budget every year and create a system of free public schools. It is literally one of our only 2 missions. We have a constitutional obligation to get this right. We have a moral obligation to get this right, to make sure the next generation of kids has the same opportunities or better opportunities than what we had. We have an economic obligation to get things right. This is a fast-paced world we're living in. We are competing now, not just with Virginia and with Pennsylvania and with Delaware. We're competing with Singapore and South Korea and Finland. And if we don't provide the high quality education that those countries are providing, we will fall behind. We need to get this done. But we can get this done. We can do it this year. Because of the leadership of people like Mike Bush, we've gotten this far. We have a plan. It's ready to be implemented. All it will take is the people of the state of Maryland showing up to Annapolis and writing letters and calling their legislators and saying, it's time. It's time we provide what our kids deserve in every school in the state of Maryland. So I hope that each and every one of you, as you're educating yourself about this, are also preparing yourself to be advocates for it, because we need you. We need your voice. We need you to speak up. We need you to hold every single one of us in the state legislature accountable for making this happen. Thank you very much for being here today.